Hello everybody. Rainforest Connection builds devices called Guardians that are installed high in the rainforest canopy to collect acoustic data from the rainforest. The NGO detects chainsaw and deleterious events in real time and sends rangers an audio file to review, verify and reference to enable them to go on site. Today I had the pleasure of Lawrence Whittaker joining me on the show. Lawrence is a professional tree climber and the lead field installer for Rainforest Connection. How do you go about preparing and conducting field operations?
Nice. So that's a good question, particularly in the context of what we've been through over the last couple of years. So it requires quite a lot of planning and understanding and contextual information based on the country that you're going to, obviously. So to give you some examples, that's probably a good way of answering it. We have some projects in Malaysia, for example. During the pandemic, that was a very, very tricky place to work because they had a very serious lockdown. So I couldn't go there. No one could go there. Tofa couldn't go there. And so we tried to find some Malaysian tree climbers and canopy access specialists who could help us. But even because the lockdown was so strict that even they couldn't have inter-regional travel. So the people that we found couldn't do it. So we had to prepare even more by asking our partners to find people within the area. So that was a tricky one to prepare for and plan. But then some of the projects obviously in Europe have been much easier because I'm located in Europe, and the vaccine rollout's been quicker. So I've been able to go there in like Greece and Romania and carry out those projects with just a case of understanding their restrictions really, and then setting some dates. But yeah, so it's really contextual based on each country that we work in.
Yeah, sure. And I guess the tropical environment is very different to the European environment, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It offers much more different challenges, particularly dependent on the time of year. Obviously, like in the winter, in the European winter, it's a whole different kind of kettle of fish as opposed to the tropics, which has just a wet season and a dry season and is pretty sunny and hot all year round. But in the wet season, it basically means that we can't really do too much field work, obviously. We try and plan for the dry seasons and plan for the summer. Although actually most of the projects we've done in Europe, we went to Romania in the winter, so that was tricky. But yeah, that was good fun. Yeah. Harsh winters over there.
It must have been minus. Yeah. What was it, the weather like there?
They had a meter of snow, literally a meter. So yeah, like it was incredible. I've never seen so much snow. Yeah.
So you work very closely, obviously, alongside rangers. Do you train them up as well within the tree climbing capability?
We have done. Most of our training with the rangers falls under like the capacity to use our technology that we've developed. A lot of the apps and how to react to the ranger apps and the dashboard services, so they can react to the alerts coming from the Guardians and facilitate the action that way. We have helped some rangers access the canopy, although it's not something that we tend to do just because it's like it requires a decent amount of training and obviously a lot of equipment and practice and things like that. So we tend towards finding people that already have those skills, have
Yeah.
gone about getting those skills off their own back, so to speak. But also, the rangers don't really need to learn to tree climb because once the guardians are installed, they are they can work by themselves, you know, for a long time without needing maintenance. So
Yeah.
there's no real need for the rangers to access the canopy that way. Yeah.
Fascinating. So it leads on to my next question is how's your collaboration going with Hitachi Vantara and your ongoing rollout schedule in terms of the entire network of your Rainforest Connection Guardians?
Yeah, it's going really well. They've helped us a lot with developing a lot of the kind of internal infrastructure within the organization and our technology. So that partnership's been fantastic. Um, we also have they've also helped us with one of the projects in Sumatra in Indonesia, where
Mm-hmm.
they're helping us, although it's not live yet, they're helping us to kind of create a predictive model for chainsaws. So a model that can sense changes based on um, yeah, sense changes in the forest and use that to predict a possible outcome of a chainsaw. Because obviously the animals, you know, particularly the mammals, they learn pretty quickly when a human's there or when a chainsaw's going to go off, and you can use those sensitivities to kind of predict when a disturbance and illegal activity might be happening. So they're gonna help us with that, and we're going to have a partnership with them to help develop that. Although it's not live yet, but yeah, it's a fantastic partnership to have. One of our
Mm-hmm.
great corporate partners.
Yeah, fantastic. So when were you last tree climbing with Rainforest Connection?
Um, when was I last tree climbing? I actually did a project um, in Greece not too long ago, like a few months ago, um, which was fantastic. We went there in the northern parts of Greece in the Owls Gorge in the state of Epirus,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a project focusing on the hunting of the Balkan Sanwa. Um, so that was amazing. Actually, I really enjoyed that project. There was some fantastic. We climbed, you know, some pretty epic mountains to the top of this gorge, and the views were fantastic. And yeah, we installed some guardians in some pretty remote places to ensure that we're covering a lot of hunting ground and a lot of migratory ground of the Balkan Samwa because um, it comes down into the lower areas during the winter to feed,
Mm-hmm.
and then goes back up in the summer. So you have to kind of cover the whole area of the gorge in Guardians. But yeah, that was one of the projects I've been recently. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So tell me more about the equipment you install in your professional kit to get the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we install, Rainforest Connection has developed something called a Guardian, which is a real-time acoustic device which we use to monitor threats in vulnerable ecosystems, but also biodiversity. And this is a piece of a kit that was obviously invented by Topher White, as you know,
Yeah.
um, and it's undergone a lot of iterations over the years. But it's been developed into a really nice, like professional piece of kit that can be installed in the canopy with real ease now by anyone who has, you know, a tree climbing qualification. Um,
Mm-hmm.
nice, and it's yeah, and it can stay up in the canopy for, you know, for months, years. We've had them working, and it collects data and records sounds from the environment, and it sends that data to the cloud, and then on the cloud it has a number of models running on it that can detect chainsaws or gunshots, and it then kind of sends that as an alert to a ranger in who's working in that particular ecosystem, so they can
Yeah.
react in real time to a threat.